The rain tapped gently against the tall windows of the mansion, a mansion that stood like a castle at the edge of the city. Inside, silence stretched across its endless rooms, broken only by the steady hum of machines and the distant ticking of an antique clock. In the master bedroom, Victor Albright, a man whose name often appeared in across his grand four-poster bed, he wasn't sleeping. He hadn't really slept in years. To the world, Victor was a man who had everything: wealth beyond imagination, luxury cars, art that hung like treasures in museums, and a home so vast that he rarely saw half of it. Yet in the deep quiet of his nights, when no one was watching, he felt nothing but a hollow ache inside. His fortune had bought him every material thing he could desire, but not companionship, not laughter, not warmth. His wife had passed away years earlier, leaving him with only echoes of memories. His only son had grown distant, chasing his own life abroad. Victor lived surrounded by riches, but starved of connection. Every evening, one of the few human presences he still sought in his mansion came in the maid, Elena. She was quiet, gentle, moving about with care, never disturbing him more than necessary. She came from a modest background, a single mother raising a little girl, working tirelessly to make ends meet. Victor hardly spoke to her beyond polite instructions, yet he noticed things: the wear on her shoes, the faint shadows under her eyes, the way she carried herself with quiet dignity despite her struggles. On one particular night, when loneliness gnawed at Victor more than usual, he decided to do something strange. He would pretend to sleep, while Elena came in to clean. He didn't know exactly why, maybe curiosity, maybe boredom, but some instinct told him that behind her silence there might be something he had never noticed. The door opened softly, and Elena slipped inside, carrying her small basket of supplies. She moved delicately, almost as though the mansion itself might shatter under too much noise. She dusted, she folded, she arranged, and then, as she approached the side table near Victor's bed, she paused. He felt her presence, close enough that he could sense the warmth of another human being near him. He kept his eyes closed, his breathing slow, convincing enough to pass for sleep. That was when he heard it. A whisper. "Senor Albright, I don't know if you can hear me," she murmured in a voice so soft it was almost a prayer. "But thank you. Thank you for giving me this job. My little girl had dinner tonight because of you." She laughed for the first time in days. "You don't speak to me much, but I know you are kind. I pray for you every night, that you are not as lonely as you look." Victor's chest tightened. No one had prayed for him in years. No one had spoken to him with such unpolished, genuine gratitude. He lay still, his eyes burning with tears he forced himself not to release. Elena continued, her voice trembling slightly. "Sometimes I wish I could tell you that your home may be grand, but it feels empty. You deserve more than silence, sir. You deserve to smile again. I hope one day someone gives you the kindness you've given me, even if you don't realize it." Her words slipped into him like light breaking through a long-closed window. He had never thought of his paying her salary as anything other than a transaction, just one more line in his expenses. But to her, it meant food on the table, joy for her child, survival. It meant hope. When she left the room, Victor finally let the tears fall. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a man defined only by his fortune. He felt human. The next morning, Victor did something he hadn't done in decades. He asked someone about their life. Over breakfast, when Elena brought in his tray, he looked at her, really looked, and asked, "How is your daughter?" The question stunned her. She blinked, then answered softly, "She is well, sir. Better, thanks to this job." From that day, a quiet transformation began. Victor began speaking to Elena each morning, learning about her struggles, her dreams for her little girl. She, in turn, began to see, not just her employer, but a man carrying silent grief. Weeks later, Victor asked if he could meet her daughter. One Sunday afternoon, Elena nervously brought little Sophia to the mansion. The girl, with wide brown eyes and a shy smile, carried a small homemade drawing of a man standing next to a little girl holding hands under a bright sun. On top, she had written in shaky letters, "For Mr. Albright, thank you for helping my mommy." Victor felt something inside him shatter and mend all at once. He knelt, hugging the little girl as tears streamed down his face. That night, he realized Elena's whispered words had saved him. They had awakened something his fortune never could: connection, kindness, family. Months later, Victor made another decision. He set up a trust fund for Sophia's education, ensuring that the little girl who once went hungry would never again be held back by circumstance. He began inviting Elena and her daughter to share meals in his vast, empty dining room, filling it with laughter it hadn't known in years. The millionaire who once lived surrounded by silence had found a family in the most unexpected way through the whispered gratitude of a maid who thought he was asleep. And sometimes, late at night, Victor would sit by the window, listening to the rain, and whisper his own prayer of thanks for the kindness that had reached him when he needed it most. Because true wealth, he realized, wasn't in the walls of his mansion or the numbers in his accounts. It was in the voices, the laughter, and the love that now echoed within them. And to anyone listening to this story, may you remember that even the smallest whisper of gratitude can change a life forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us all